Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and this is going to have to be, a weird kind of video. And what do I mean by that? Now, you obviously saw the thumbnail. Rand Paul is in the thumbnail. I don't know how much of Rand Paul's message here will be accepted on YouTube. If you did not see what he put out yesterday, I got to tell you, I'm in full agreement with the guy. Full agreement. He talks about, hey, by the way, went to Duke Medical School, got my degree. I have studied a lot of the science surrounding this, makes some claims that we can't make here on YouTube. Being very careful. And then essentially says this next wave of restrictions, mandates, passports, lockdowns, etc., we must resist. We must be the great resistance. And with that, I say to you, Rand Paul, yes, sir, and a thank you. I thank you. Okay? So, of that video, we're going to just really play the very beginning of it because we don't want to get hit with strike 3 and medical misinformation. Now, there are 2 other videos that we are going to play in this. Now, another one is also in the thumbnail. If you look in the upper right here, you'll see this Mount Vernon meeting. And here we have a medical professional with a degree in front of his board who he has given a USB stick full of information to. Okay? And what's important about this is he goes through it for about 5.5 minutes. Okay? And then he says, look, I don't want you to take this money. And if there are any court cases, I would be happy to testify under oath. This is the next step. We need medical professionals stepping up, going to these board meetings. If you look here, it is a full board meeting with the support of the people, okay, where they're sitting in, where they're holding these people accountable. You need to do the same thing. By the way, shout out to Kara Castronova. She's been doing a lot. Shout out to Chrissy Meyer as well. They were both out at the New York rally today resisting these draconian, authoritarian dictates that will enslave us all, period. There is no ifs, ands, or uts, or buts about it. You see what's happening with this key to the city pass. I didn't do mixed martial mindset today because my friend John Fitch is out of town. But last night, I want to read this because he's upset and he has every right to be upset. And he's in California and he's divorced. And I know a lot of people are dealing with, multiple facets to how you live. But he goes, I was at the pool today and there was a father that has kids that go to the same school my boys are going to. He mentioned he was concerned that no one wore a mask at the gym his kids do BJJ at. They're doing BJJ. Josh Thompson's gym. Not to blow up Josh Thompson's spot. I love Josh Thompson, by the way. Josh Thompson calls fights great. Pro MMA fighter back in the day. Those Gilbert Melendez battles are amazing. Okay? Calls fights for Bellator. Like what the fuck? The kids are rolling around on each other, and you think a mask is going to do something? Or he says shit. Zero critical thinking at all. Correct. All right? And he said, he just read an email saying staff and students at my kid's private school will all wear the mask. Meanwhile, we got video at the Obama party. More and more pictures coming out. And I had people denying with Stockholm Syndrome that any of that was real. They truly think that these people aren't laughing at us, okay? So what we are going to be able to do is play one video, and I turn the sound off. The reason I turned the sound off is it is from Israeli mainstream media, and I'm going to read what I can of it, and I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to get hit with strike 3. But anybody can look this up. It was on earlier this week. There are other news reports surrounding these same things that anybody can look into that continues to eviscerate and destroy the Bernaysian talking points like breakthrough cases, which means nothing, alone together, which means nothing. 2 weeks to stop the spread, that meant nothing. Pandemic of the unvaccinated, that meant nothing. Okay? Orwellian, Bernaysian terminology to enslave us as a species. Okay? That is the reality. So thumbs it up, subscribe and share over on YouTube, please, guys. There's a lot going on, but I gotta get the Constitution. That was all up in you. On the 14th, there's going to be a class here in Iowa. Michael Bednarik, he ran for president back in the day. Go watch that. It's exclusive right now over there. But I think I'm going to put a piece of that up over at YouTube as well. I'm going to put up this 12-year-old throwback that's going to be like 40, 50 minutes long. And it's unbelievable, the parallels of the last 13 years as well. And if you missed Uncensored Earth 2100, you missed Anthony Fauci, you missed Eric Schmidt, you missed a lot. You missed over an hour and 20 minutes that's not available on YouTube. So go make the free account. Follow me, thumbs those videos up, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, you do the paying subscription, endorse me, you get everybody's premium content. You help support the program. It's much appreciated. Again, thank you so much for that. When we do leave, we are going to play Rand Paul. It's weird because this is still up at Facebook, but I just feel if I play this on YouTube, it's going to get pulled. I mean, I think he goes beyond what their terms of services say. He calls out some of the administrations that we're not supposed to call out, that we're just supposed to blindly obey. So I'm going to get out of this picture. I'm going to read it as it goes. I might have to substitute some words, but I assure you I didn't put these words over it. This is the correct translation. This is a real newscast. Okay? And the reason I'm not playing it, again, is fear that even in another language, this might get taken down. Okay? So here we go. And plus, I'm going to read it. I don't know how many of you guys out there speak, I believe it's Hebrew. So, hello to Dr. Kobi Haviv, the director of Herzog Hospital in Jerusalem. Hey, how we doing? I understand that most of the patients are booped, even severe patients. Exactly. Natural occurring old people, most have the boop. Most of the population is booped at 90%, 85 to 90% of the hospitalizations are fully booped people. Whoa, wait a minute. Yes, unfortunately, the boop, as they say, is effectiveness, it's waning. Remember, we're going to have boosters. Outbreaks in hospitals, one patient infects a large number of people. It is just not here and there. I mean, look at those numbers. And we mentioned earlier the effectiveness of the boop is really fading. So, yeah. And you know what? Let's see if we can get that, because we're going to get to that. That's on the other side. Okay. So again, that's mainstream Israeli media. Anybody can look into it. I'm not trying to give you any kind of medical misinfo. I'm not saying whether that's real or not, but I can tell you I didn't fake it. Okay. And those aren't the talking points we're getting over here, are they? But we are getting talking points now from Fauci that boosters are on the way. That is a talking point that we warned you about. Do you get it? I see in my comment section over on YouTube, by the way, not even 100 thumbs up. Let's get the thumbs up and get ready to go over to Rockfin. Because if you want to see hardcore, all right, I mean, now we could turn the thing back up over here and look at this meeting and look how everybody thinks it's funny. Ha ha, funny, funny. They make doctor jokes in the beginning. But at the same time, I don't know that I can play this either because, you know, you'd probably get hit with the medical misinfo. We'll play the beginning, how they think everything's hilarious. Oh, we can't read this. Oh, maybe it's because it's a doctor's signature.
Looks like a doctor's signature to me.
Well, that's why I can't read it. Oh.
Guilty as charged. Dr. Dan Stock, 5777 West 700 North, McCordsville, Indiana.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, I'm going to end it here. We're going to play this. We're also going to play Rand Paul's message of the Great Resistance. And the bottom line is, if you're in law enforcement, if you're in the health department, okay, if you right now they mandated this for the military, by the way. You know, that's something I should go over before. I told you it wasn't even going to take an FDA approval. And quite frankly, I just want everybody to know, I don't care if it's FDA approved. That's never been an argument for me. It's not like I trust something because it's FDA approved. Like, give me a break. It's ridiculous. So for those that don't know, where is it? Let's see. It's got to be down here a little bit further. There it is right there. But let's play some of it.
By now, the Secretary's memo to the message to the force about COVID vaccines, that's public now, so I'm not going to reread it for you. I think you all can get the gist of it. I would just point out that there's sort of three elements here to it. One is that he will request approval from the president for a waiver to make the COVID vaccines mandatory by mid-September. He'll make the request for the waiver by mid-September. I've seen some reporting out there that means that all the troops have to be vaccinated by mid-September. That's not accurate. He'll make the request by mid-September, unless or until FDA licensure occurs before that time, at which point the Secretary has the authority he needs upon FDA licensure to make whatever vaccine is then given that license mandatory. I just want to clear that up. That's point number one. Point number two, in the meantime, two things are going to happen. One, the services are going to be tasked to come back to the Secretary with implementation plans for how they're going to get this moving. And there is not probably a lot of time between now, certainly not a lot of time between now and mid-September. But if FDA licensure comes sooner than that, and there's press reporting to suggest that the Pfizer vaccine will be perhaps even completely approved by the end of this month. So the services have a fair but limited amount of time to come back to the Secretary with their implementation plans for how they would go about mandatory vaccines for all their personnel. We have to understand, of course, that they have their own deployment schedules, their own manning constructs, their own differences in unvaccinated numbers, and so we're going to be respectful of that. The second thing that will happen in the meantime is that we are going to be developing policies to comply with the president's direction that the unvaccinated will have to be subjected to certain requirements and restrictions. I don't have the details for all that today. We're working hard on what will be a policy directive to come in the coming days that will make it clear what those requirements and restrictions are and how they apply to everybody in the DoD workforce, including uniformed personnel.
So all of the Department of Defense, restrictions or mandates. So here it is, guys. If you want to hear Rand Paul, and we're going to play that as well. If you want to see this Mount Vernon, the Mount Vernon thing, this thing is powerful. Go make the free Rockfin account right now. That's all I can say. I can't play this stuff on YouTube. I can't tell you how I really feel. We want to keep the channel. We got 2 strikes. But, we're talking about, people with medical degrees. We're not talking Jason Burmis talking, all right? So thumbs it up, subscribe, share, use YouTube. We love you.